welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys for your continued support. So today what I wanted to talk about is something that I think a lot of us have dealt with at some point in our dating life when it comes to setting standards and keeping them, and not allowing our love or our likeness for a person to trump the love that we have for ourselves, and understanding our own self-worth. And, I think a lot of that comes from us creating ideas in our head about the way a situation should be or could be, instead of seeing the situation for what it is now. So, and I've been there before. And so if you're there now, I'm here to help you reclaim your time, because I definitely can understand the frustration that can come with that. And, because it's easier to say something when you're not in a situation. Like, it's easier to say, oh, I'm not going to put up with this, I'm not going to deal with this. Once you get into a situation, then sometimes, and not to say you don't love yourself, but sometimes you tend to kind of go with the flow because you might like someone and the chemistry that's there, and we let that cloud our judgment. And we really don't sit in, okay, this is what the situation is. Let me not get my hopes up. Let me evaluate what's going on here, and then move on from there, and move however the situation is looking. And that happens. It's happened to me, like I said. And so sometimes we reward people for treating us the way that they should be treating us anyway, or for giving us basic human decency. Someone being a gentleman, that doesn't give them a license to your vagina or your heart just because they're being a gentleman. If they open the door for you, that's just what it is. And so don't allow yourself to start, how, we might have conversations with someone and they're just, whispering sweet nothings and telling us all these great things, and until the next time we speak to them, we have these ideas planted in our head about them, and now we're starting to miss them, and these feelings are starting to be created. And I think a lot of us women deal with this more than men, and especially as we get older. And for me, that's why I said things definitely have to be intentional. So that's when it comes to communication, spending time, all of those things have to be intentional, and you have to understand and know what that person wants. And I think that's where it starts, is the communication. Now, people can come into your life, not to say everyone comes into your life just to be buttholes. Like, yeah, people will try you, humans will try you. But the thing I think that's the most important is when you set those standards for yourself and you go into the situation. Now, you don't have to bombard somebody with what your standards are in the beginning or whatever. You could just, let them know, yes, I'm dating intentionally. And so once you let them know that you're dating intentionally, at that point, you have to ask them, hey, are you dating intentionally as well? Which means that they have the intent, not to say that you are going to be the person they choose, but they are dating with the intention to make, how can I put this? They're dating with the intention of marriage, whatever their intention is. If it's in the same lane as yours, then cool. But if it's not, if you guys don't have the same you guys have to create a foundation in your relationship. So if you guys are not on the same wavelength, then it's not going to work. So if this person is not doing something that you need them to do, and you communicate that to them and they don't change it, then at that point, if you don't speak up for yourself, or if you don't just leave or do whatever you got to do to make sure that you have your sanity and peace of mind, and that you're not allowing someone to do whatever they want and try you, at that point, that's when it becomes a problem, if you just let stuff slide. And I think a lot of people tend to do that for a little bit of attention, or just to be able to go on a few little cute dates, not knowing there's so many people in this world that you have a chance to interact with. So why allow that one person? And that's another thing to speak on, putting your eggs in one basket. Now, if you're that type of person, I can understand, like, because you have, like I said, because we create this idea with this person. But let me help you understand this. Think about the repercussions of doing that if that person is not even, they're not even your boyfriend or girlfriend. So there's a chance that this person is entertaining other people, even if they are dating intentionally, because we tend to think that just because someone's dating intentionally is that you're their only focus. Now, after some time, you know, and you guys are creating, you guys are creating memories together for some time. And like I say 2-3 months after that, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But if you just met someone, y'all been talking for about a couple weeks, don't sit there and create this idea that you are the only one because you just met them. And so there's so many different ways you can go about this. For me, I feel like if you create standards for yourself, don't shift your standards based on another person, because who they are as a person and what they need, they will find the person that's for them. Just like they will find the person for them, you will find the person for you. If you don't like to do certain stuff, don't try to do something just to, or change the type of person that you are just for love. So really all of this stuff is tied to self-love and knowing your worth. Set your standards and keep to them. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And not to say, like I said earlier, that people cannot change, but you have to believe the person that they're showing you that they are, or if they tell you something. So if they're showing you and also telling you that they aren't ready to be serious or date intentionally, and they're just, doing their thing, believe them. Don't try to change a person, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. You are going to drive yourself crazy, and that's where the frustration comes from, because you try to change. And also, it can also come in the form of, even if they're not telling you directly, but they're just indirectly telling you, like they're coming up with excuses and things about themselves and their personality and the reason why they can't interact or engage or whatever the case may be with you in a certain way, because they're just this way. This is just the way I am. When someone tells you that, that means that they're just stuck on who they are, or even in most cases, it's not because they're stuck on who they are. They just don't like you like that. They like you, but they don't like you enough to change their routine of maybe if they're not communicating with you enough, or if you're not spending enough time together. So you have to look at all these different signs. There's so many ways and different red flags that we miss, or sometimes we just ignore just to have someone by our side. And I have so many things I could say about this topic. I can go on and on and on. But the most important part is it's just having self-love for yourself. And being able to stick to whatever standards you set for yourselves, irregardless of if you have to have your season of being alone for some time. Trust me, who is meant for you will come into your life when they are meant, because we can't control what happens we can't control. As much as we want to have control, we do not have control. So even if you're with someone and you like them so much and you're fighting so hard for it, but it's not panning out the way it needs to for you, because you're trying to make a person be something that they're not, it's because you have to lose. Sometimes it comes from a place of ego, guys. We have to also be real with ourselves. It's trying to control the situation because we want it to be the way we want it to be for ourselves. And sometimes, even if you have standards set and you're communicating those, Maybe that person just not in that headspace, and you can't control the next person and the way they feel and the way they think and what they want to do. So with knowing that you can't control a person, if you don't want to drive yourself crazy, just let it go. And like I said, I know it's easier said than done when you're not in the situation, but just, take in some of what I'm saying and, chew the meat, spit out the bone, whatever, works for you. And because I just want everyone to understand how important, especially because I have been through so many situations where I didn't understand, and maybe I did understand it, I just didn't want to see it until I gained more clarity. After my last relationship, I told myself no more. And I found myself, and not to say I wasn't trying to be intentional in that situation, I think I was just being more desperate. And sometimes a lot of our choices come out of desperation. So yes, guys, thank you again for listening. And until next time, be blessed.